Hello, Kansas and Western fans. It's time for today's poll results and work plan for today. And as you can see here in front of you, the results, we got a total of 31 votes in total. And as you can see here, the Royal Gorge Route has won again. But that's followed up by several other votes of quite the variety of people that want to see other things worked on, obviously. And it tells me two things. Number one, to see the same aspect of the layout continually win the vote, especially when it's something that I've never tried before, is extremely encouraging. So I want to thank all of you that think enough of my work on the Royal Gorge Route that you want to see more. I can't really think of anything that'd be more confidence building than having strangers repeatedly want to see more of something I've never done before. So I appreciate that a lot. And then for everybody else that's voting, I appreciate your participation. You know, you want to see different aspects of the layout, we'll get to them. There's no doubt about it. This all has to get done at some point, so we'll get there. So hang in there with voting for what you want to see. Anyway, the work plan for this period is going to be pretty simple. Since I've come up with a general look that I like in terms of the carving of the rock face and the color scheme, although I am still working that out a little bit. But in general, I've got that figured out, what I want to do. I'm going to focus on trying to get this rock face finished. It's going to be a lot of carving, and I'm probably going to try to get some of the painting done too, as just a break. I think I had a little bit of a conversation with someone who posted after the last update why I don't just carve it all and then paint it at one time. And carving on foam, even though foam's not that hard, it's pretty taxing on the wrist, or on both wrists actually, just because of the amount of pressure you have to put on repeatedly over and over again. So it's definitely going to be a carpal tunnel situation there. So painting helps take a break from that because there's not the pressure you have to use on the brushes. So I probably will get some painting done, but I am going to try to get this whole rock face carved. I don't know if I can get that done in 2 weeks or not, but I'm going to try. And then we're going to see about blending the rock face into just kind of a hillside edge as it fades into the backdrop. You know, what I'm trying to reproduce is basically this corner here where you've got some exposed rock and then it kind of fades into the backdrop where you see the blue sky. That's what I'm trying to reproduce in this area here for that. And then it'll be the same thing over here where the rock face kind of just blends into a hillside, and then the backdrop that will follow around the corner here to Canyon City. So I've finally bought a bag of Sculptamold. I've got some plaster cloth, so we're going to experiment once I get the rock face carved to those corners and those edges about blending those in. So not sure if I'll get to that point or not yet, but we're going to see what I can do about getting as much of this rock face done as possible, because I'm excited to work on the river as well. I'm starting to like how the bank is looking over here. So I want to develop that further, but I don't want to get into that until the rock face is done, primarily because I'm doing a lot of leaning on the layout, obviously, to do this work in the back. So working back to front, river has to come second. But I've got a selection of rock here, different sizes, varieties, colors. I may also take a break from the carving and the painting and start working on some riprap along the edge of the river. Just erosion control with these rocks. And then I mentioned how I didn't like the coloration of this erosion control here around the culvert, and someone mentions just paint it. And you know what? This channel has been super useful for stuff like that. Just real easy suggestion that I just wouldn't think of off the top of my head. Just paint it. So I might try to change the color of that rock there to something that looks a little more natural. So anyway, that's what we're going to do for these next 2 weeks. See how much this rock we can get cut up. And we'll see how far I can get. So thanks everybody for your participation, and have a good night.